I talk about a health bank all the time. Like you say, people are great with financial wealth. There's lots of interest in that kind of stuff, and I understand why. It's financial health is part of feeling fulfilled in your life, right? And it creates opportunities to have more fun, which is what I'm all about. But yeah, health wealth, people are terrible at investing in that. And it's a weird one because it's in a lot of ways how I resent the fitness industry. So I'm going to sell you a 6-week transformation. And it's like, that seems so low rent. But we've created a culture and a societal expectation where you're buying a result from me. Whereas I think you should be investing in enjoying a process and a lifestyle that we're not taught. And that's the joke is that we live in an age where we have access to knowledge and facilities and opportunities to be the healthiest generation that we've ever had, but we're not. And actually, when you look at the state of the health, it's in decline. So a lot of the trends around healthy age expectations. So like we say, the health span, healthy life span in the UK has just dropped by 2 years to 61. That's really bad. And when you look at a lot of the other stats, they're not going in the right direction. Childhood obesity, and there's a lot of nasty kind of things that are happening in terms of the trends of the health when we know better, and it's not rocket science. And at the other side of the extreme, you've got people hyper-optimizing their routine, where people are now having a panic attack if they're blending a banana in a smoothie in the morning. And you're like, somebody's convinced you that blending a banana in a smoothie is unhealthy. It's just ridiculous. It's sensationalism, and I don't necessarily blend bananas in my smoothies, but I blend plenty of fruit in my smoothies. I've done it for over a decade. I'm fine. My blood tests are fine. And it's just, people are buying into really extreme things, and I don't know why, and I think about that all the time. And I do wonder why people don't look at just real world evidence. I get that a lot of people are being influenced by social media and allowing that to do their research and allow kind of AI to do some of their research, which is definitely a concern. But at the same time, just look at the real world. So when you're looking at Okinawa and Sicily and the blue zones, there is some really good stuff to learn from those people, right? And those lifestyles and what they're prioritizing, because it's not a hyperbaric chamber. That's one of my rages at the minute. It's just like, people are like, oh yeah, I do hyperbaric chambers like 3 times a week. I'm so healthy. And you're like, looking at this guy, you go, you don't look healthy. Like, I look healthier than you. And it's like, that's not a competitive thing. It's just like, I'm sat there going, do I need a hyperbaric chamber in my routine? And my answer is no, because if the world needed me to have a hyperbaric chamber, there would probably be somewhere in the world where I could go and sit in a hyperbaric, high pressured, high oxygen environment. And in contrast to, what are some of the healthiest people in the Alps and mountainous regions do? They're going into higher altitudes where there's less oxygen. And you're like, so now you're telling me I need more oxygen to be healthier? And you're like, well, it doesn't happen in the real world, And I think there's so much heritage in good health. 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, you just had to be physically healthy and physically useful to survive and work. And, the last 50 years especially, work has become less and less physical. So we start to value physical health and fitness less and less because it's so much less aligned to your social status. So when we were, very much warrior cultures, like your physical status was a big deal. And then when, work was much more like manual focused, your physical ability was a big deal if you were physically weak. I always love the Icelandic story about the fisherman stones. And so your wealth and your family's wealth was basically set up by how heavy a rock you could lift up when you were 18. And I'm like, that's savage. But at the same time, it shows you what was important back then, is you had to be physically useful, right? And that just isn't the case anymore,